Okay, so this video is for Rogza. I hope I'm saying that right. This video ended up being at least an hour too short. My only limit case, the cable's going through the cat rocks around 6:15. Yes, that bugs me too. I made the blueprint for that area before the catwalks, and I just didn't find a better place for the catwalks. If you look closely at the video too, there were some floating power poles and stuff. So yeah, no, I know. Anyway, so please tell me more about the power switches at the nuclear plants, or your thought process around the way you use them. Yeah, that is a less a longer answer, but I'm really glad you asked because I think it's one of the weakest spots in Satisfactory. It's just sort of it's challenging to keep power organized, and that's why I use a lot of priority power switches. For the simple reason that then you have one main interface through circuit priority where you can see all of your sub circuits, right? My general thought process on all this is the priority stuff is basically dedicated 100%, with some exceptions, and 100%, so 95%, around keeping power running, and if power dies, making it able to easily restart. So basically, it goes from priority one group. You can think of this as sort of a hierarchy, like these items are nested within these guys, these are nested within these guys, so on and so forth. So at the top, you have, this is basically the top, the jump starter. I can show you this too. So basically what you have here is you have the jump starter, which is a giant battery that's charged and ready to go. This will turn on the coal power plant and the pumps for the power plant, which then you could turn on the power bus connection to the nuclear power plant, which then will allow you to turn this stuff on, which is all the production of fuel rods in case there are none. But there's a huge buffer of those over there too, so it would be highly unlikely. But then you could turn this stuff on and have that be powered. And then once that's up and running, these guys should be fed. And then you can turn on your other things to make materials. And then you can also turn on plutonium power, which is these reactors here. So basically it's all about power. I mean, there's no other reason to really have priority groups like that. So all the manufacturing, all the actual, factories down in the trenches creating the different parts, they're all here. Drone stations should technically not be there, but I haven't really figured out a good way to put them because some of these drone stations do fuel the nuclear power plant. But again, that's a job for another day. You can also see here I haven't actually renamed these. They're all from the blueprint name, which just starts with Reactor 01. But it is nice. You can kind of see at a glance how everything's doing. You should, in theory, be able to turn this on, turn everything off here, and then start it up again. I'm not going to do that now because if it doesn't work, that will be a much longer video. But that's the general design around it. So this is the water being provided to I'll give you an outside view here. This is the water pumps being provided to the coal power plant, which is right there. It's pretty much done. I have some facade issues that I need to fix on it. Oh, we gotta take the way in here. But I did recently add the battery jump starter, something I had meant to do for a long time, and I kind of cleaned up the pipe work here and some other things. But yeah, so if we look at the top, we're missing stuff here. I had actually had a mod that had a different piece that was running here, which was very cool, but I ended up unloading it because it was causing issues with texture memory. So I got to figure out something else. But you can see the batteries up there. Let's go up there real quick. Again, clearly this is not finished because you can't walk the factory. That's my rule. But I'm getting there. Everything's fleshed out, but yeah, so these guys are all fully charged. And in theory, you have 290 hours of backup. I sincerely doubt that, but each one of these modules is a blueprint, as is each one of the coal modules is a blueprint. I think the underside of them is a blueprint as well, right? Yeah, no, it's all part of the same thing. Oh, there's that, and then there's that. Yeah. Again, blueprints are your friends. They are kind of amazing. So from here, there is a central connection. There's only one connection to the nuclear power plant. This is so it's completely air gapped from everything else. So nothing else can positively or negatively affect the power plant. Same thing with here. There's only two connections to this coal power plant. There's a one to the nuclear power plant, and then there's the main bus to all the factories. Well, to the Terra factory, and all the items that feed the Terra factory. That's the Terra factory, not done yet. There's the main kind of spine that brings in all the resources to it, and this is what connects the belt power bus, which is this is a giant bus going in that black kind of long column. So this powers that guy. If you turn the switch off, this entire thing goes dark. If you turn this guy off, then you lose nuclear power completely. So that way you basically can air gap the coal power facility, make sure it runs independently is great. You can start it up again without having the extra load of, thousands of machines over there. And you can do the same with nuclear from here. So I know this is a little bit more than what you're asking for, but it is sort of one of my pet peeves with the game. You can also see that my power poles look a little different. They have this white on there. And that is a mod. It's a really simple little mod, but man, is it good. I can't remember the name of it. Here, let's see if I can find it real quick. I found it recently, and it is a game changer. Basically, on each one of your power outputs, it shows you white as if it has power running through it. Yellow shows if it's connected to a circuit, and red shows if it's not connected to anything. It is, here we go, all poles with indicator light. Andre Aquila, thank you, sir. It is such a good mod. But anyway, yeah, it is incredibly useful when you're trying to diagnose power issues. Anyway, so let's go to nuclear, and then I can show you kind of out there. By the way, I don't know if I did that on these. I think there might be a separate priority switch for each one of the coal modules. Maybe I didn't do that. Did I not do that? I didn't do that. And honestly, I did that in nuclear, and I'm sort of debating whether or not I needed to do that or not. But it makes it look cool, so there's that. All right, so now we're heading to nuclear. We're going to pass aluminum production, oil production, which is all kind of a little bit crappy there, but whatever. Yeah, so basically everything in this region of the map. Can I put the map up where we're going? Yeah, so this entire region here is all dedicated to nuclear. Every resource, every belt, everything that's mined, this entire region just fuels electrical. And so while nuclear and coal are electrically air gappable, they're also physically air gapped from everything else because there are no other dependencies that rely on the resources in this area to fuel anything else. And that is something I 100% recommend with builds of any size, like physically air gap your electrical production, and then also electrically be able to air gap it, because it will make your life so much easier. It'll make diagnosing issues so much easier. Yeah, we got to get to the reactors, don't we? All right. Still working on transport here. It's a little bare bones. Yeah, so what else? I don't know. That's kind of it. I mean, I really wish they would make a couple different modifications or additions to the game. I have to think they're thinking about it because it just seems like an obvious weak link. Oh, I still have like a naming structure to everything. I kind of like name things like folders on your computer, right? So I'll go like, what is the item that's being made? So this is for stators, for the control rods, for uranium power. There's steps in between, but I just kind of obfuscate those because you don't really need to know. Then also we have lines A and B. Like this is the left part of the line. This is the right part of the line. This is more for like diagnosis, so I can like turn one off, kind of work on it separately, not have any other things kind of affect the numbers on that graph for the power. Then you turn it back on. So yeah, and I like them just sort of to have the option to go and turn them on and off from anywhere, and turn them off as a group too, right? So if I want to turn off all line A, I can just hit it here. Or if I want to turn off a line B, I can just do that here. If I want to turn off the entire mega factory, I can do that there, right? So there are ways to do that and kind of have it be a lot easier to sort of work the factory. All right, that's kind of it. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out.